Torch is dedicated to shining a light on lesser known topics, organisations or even events. There are so many incredible people in our community doing wondrous things and providing a voice for those that may be marginalised or in need of extra care and attention. And the Girlfriend Hour is all about helping support and raise awareness of these initiatives. Before we introduce our next guest, I do want to share that some topics may be triggering for some. We will be discussing topics related to child sex trafficking and sexual abuse. And so if this could be too distressing for you, it might be best to go grab a cup of tea or a wine for 5 minutes. Okay, so our Torch guest for today is the wonderful Paul Mergard, who will share the work of Destiny Rescue. To ground you all in some stats, over 1 million children are exploited by sex trafficking, and 70% of these children are trafficked from the Asia-Pacific region. $11 million is generated by sex traffickers every hour. This is a huge issue and one that Destiny Rescue is on the path to defeat. Please put your hands together for the incredible work of Paul Mergard and Destiny Rescue. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. What you do matters so much. Let's just dive straight in. Please tell us how Destiny Rescue got started.
Yeah, Shar, 21 years ago this year, Tony Kerwin, who's our founder, was in Thailand and overheard a conversation between two men about what they could do with a girl for $400. And Tony is one of the most passionate advocates for kids around the globe that I've ever met, and went to start this organisation called Destiny Rescue that over the last 21 years we've rescued over 9,000 individuals from sex trafficking.
Tell us the objectives and goals as an organisation as a whole.
As an organisation, we simply exist to rescue children that have been sexually exploited and help them stay free. It's really no more complex than that, but actually it's quite a complex work. We will go into bars and massage parlours and establishments. We operate along the Nepal border, trying to identify where children might be that are being exploited, being sold and being used for the gratification of men and women, just for a few couple of dollars.
Can you tell us about some of the brave women that Destiny Rescue have helped? How has your organisation helped to turn their lives around?
One of the things that we do, Shar, once we rescue a girl or a boy, but predominantly girls, is we take them through an individualised pathway to freedom. And that involves trying to find, how do we get you back onto a road that's actually reclaiming your destiny? So we've got some girls that I've just recently heard a story of. They ran into one of our rescue agents, actually our international director of rescue agents. He was walking in the markets just near Bangkok airport just a couple of months ago, and these two girls came running up to him, and he's like, what's going on here? Because he was in an area that was a bit more of a red light district. And these two girls came up to him, hugged him, and said to the people that were with him, this is the guy that we've always talked to you about. Our rescue agent, I won't use his name just for security purposes, but he got a little bit concerned because he recognised the girls, knew who they were, and was concerned that they'd gone back into the sex trade. And he suddenly, as these girls started unpacking, he said, what are you doing? Why are you here? They're like, I don't know. You put us through training. We've become nurses now. We're working in the hospital just down the road, because what we're about is not just getting kids out of the danger that they've been in, but how do we reclaim the destiny? How do we get them on a pathway of going, that is not what I was born for. That is not what, I think about a parent. You think about a mum that has a baby. What mum ever dreams of the day that her daughter's going to work in a brothel somewhere? And so we set about trying to say to a girl, your worth, your dignity, your purpose on life, it is so much more than this. And we want to get these kids back on a pathway of finding a freedom. And then really breaking the poverty cycle in their own world and their own families.
Just incredible work, and it really makes me quite speechless because I'm born in Thailand, Indian, and I was engaged at the age of 11 to 15, but I grew up in country Victoria, and so my path had been chosen for me until my stepdad stepped in and asked me, was this what I wanted? And so I was able to change that trajectory because of one person, and we've gone on to make a difference with girls in India and so that they don't become child brides. And living in Thailand, working in Thailand, we saw a lot of this happening. I worked in the hotel industry and spa industry, and often we'd turn up and there were little girls at the back door begging to come in and get support. And it's just, when you see it firsthand, it changes you. It changes you, and it allows you to put your life and the privileged life a lot of us do live into perspective. And when we have moments in business, and you'd experience this even in what you're doing, that we can start to forget why, and we start to forget what others are going through, and that's why the work you do is so powerful. You're such a case study for authentic leadership, Paul. You've truly lived your values by always bringing a focus on humanitarian issues, even through your roles leading teams in the corporate sector. Where does this sense of purpose and mission come from for you?
Yeah, well, thank you. I started off working in an accounting firm, trained as an accountant, and I think I got to the point of just thinking there's
You're far too nice to be an accountant.
I've tried to deal with that. I've had lots of counselling for that. But you know what? I grew up, my grandfather and his brother invented the sugarcane harvester, and in the 1950s and 60s used to travel the world, India, South America and whatnot. And I had an upbringing that showed me how other people lived. And in my early 20s, I spent a fair bit of time travelling in the developing world, and I saw things that I couldn't forget about. And Shar, I think, as you've just said, you know that once you find out about something, it's really hard to walk away from that. And I just remember sitting in a brothel in India back in the early 2000s, working with another organisation that were rescuing kids out of the sex trade, and I met women at the time who had been trafficked from the age of 9. And it just gripped my heart. Like, actually, women that had then been set free, women that I'd never seen. I'd never met someone that embodied redemption like a woman called Anita that I met in India. And she was trafficked from the age of 9 from Nepal and ended up in a brothel and ended up working for the next 15 to 20 years. And Anita's a woman I think about nearly every single day, because she is now helping other women come out of the sex trade. But what I've seen embodied in her life, in her sense of redemption, I want to see that happen for other kids, because I've had 14-year-old girls. A couple of weeks ago I was in Thailand, I had a 14-year-old girl sitting next to me in a bar. She's now free. But you look at these 14-year-old kids and you're like, this is not your destiny. This is not where you're supposed to be. And as an organisation, we are relentless to make sure that kid and the next one that comes after them and the one after that all get free and get to that place of rediscovering who they're actually being created to be.
Paul, how can we support your cause?
Great question. We are passionate about raising up an army of rescue partners. We can only do that with the generosity of people around the world. We operate in 8 countries at the moment, about to expand into 12. But we are desperate to raise up an army of people that are prepared to partner with us with their finances to ensure that we can rescue a kid. It costs us $1,800 on average to rescue a child. And I know for a lot of people they can't do that, others can. But, you can partner together with your girlfriends, with your family, with other people around your life. We can make a difference. Our vision as an organisation is to rescue 100,000 people by the end of the decade. And so, Shar, I just want to say thank you for raising the spotlight on this issue. I know together we can absolutely change the lives of kids around the world.
Most definitely. And, I just think You're exactly why I created this segment called The Torch, because The Torch is all about shining the light on things that you may not know about and that we can actually make a difference. If 10 women get together or 10 men get together and it's $180 each, that's one child that goes home, one child that gets saved and gets to start their life. So I'm so humbled and honoured that you came onto our show today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Are you loving the Girlfriend Hour so far? We hope you've been inspired by the wonderful women you've seen sharing their stories. Do you have an inspiring story of your own to share? We're looking for magic just like yours. Be featured in Feminescence magazine and start your own exciting media journey. Join many other fabulous women who've been profiled in Feminescence magazine. Unlock access to an international audience, propel your career and expand your network. Make today the day you back yourself. What are you waiting for? Visit feminescence.com.au to find out more.